Feud is another one of my favorites that I've worked on, and having worked with Jessica for many years, I was excited to be part of that show as well. There was, we were going off of home movies of Betty and Joan's home movies, so it was very much like a realistic portrayal of Joan and Betty. I know that there had been some people that said like, oh, she didn't even get the eyebrows right on Joan, but we weren't going off of Mommy Dearest looks. We were going off of real pictures, real home movies. Joan was actually a very freckly person, and so we wanted to make sure that she looked warm. And I did do a little bit of contouring on Jessica to give her, because Jessica has very strong bone structure, and the eyebrows, everything I kind of like fiddled around with to make sure that she stepped into that look again. I don't think we have to ever get specifically right on the money, because it isn't that person. So you just want to give a hint of it without it being too much of a caricature. And then Susan was done by Robin Beauchesne, and her character was, Susan was portrayed as Betty Davis by Kevin Aucoin years ago in one of his books, and it was beautiful. It had been like, I think 15 years before that, or 20 years before that he'd done that look on her. And so we kind of already knew that she was going to transition into Betty a little bit more, and the wigs are just fantastic in that. And yeah, we were really specific about wanted to make sure that the lip was very specific. That was a little bit of a smaller look on Susan than normal, and because she had these big, beautiful eyes, and their everyday looks I wanted them to be a little bit more of a casual look as opposed to like what we see on film. And then of course with the Blanche and the Baby Jane look, we really got out of hand with it, which was fun. Just really, and Susan had a lot of say in how she wanted to look like Baby Jane, and we really pushed to have that, out there crazy look. And I mean, some of her performances throughout the show are just nuts. It's so good, like where she's singing, and I don't know, Susan, they both were so fantastic, but Susan was, because Baby Jane is, obviously off her rocker, but Susan's incredible. It was incredible to watch both of their performances, and how similar actually those women were, that they had a lot in common, and they were always having to fight for what they wanted, especially in that time in Hollywood. There was women were just told what to do, and they both were very vocal about what they wanted, and they usually always got it. It's to the bane of the men in charge. It was such a, I loved that. I loved working on that project. It was really fun, really, really fun, collaborative, and the hair was so beautiful. Chris Clark and Ralph Abelos did the hair. Chris was the department head of hair, and the costumes were done by Lou Eyrich, and I mean the costumes were just incredible. And I loved working with Catherine Zeta-Jones. My husband and I did her age makeup, which was not super far in the future, but it was like 25 years in the future. So she had a subtle, beautiful age makeup on, and loved working with her too. She was everybody that was in the show was just excited to be there, and it was a fun project. And it's so much fun to recreate a time that I wasn't part of. That's one thing to say, we're recreating 70s or 80s or 90s or something, but to recreate the 40s, the 30s and 40s and 50s and the 60s, which is when that took place. But we had a lot of flashback stuff, so it was great. It was just a joy. It was a gem.